of Saka Dawa. For those of you who are in Asia at this point, it's the first day Saka Dawa evening. Those of us in the Western Hemisphere, this is our morning. So I'm glad that we're able to do this meet together and do this practice together. So this is part of a 14-day Saka Dawa, what I call the Saka Dawa Home Retreat program. Today, a very auspicious interdependence. Also that in the regular calendar, Western calendar, today it's also the fourth anniversary of the completion and consecration of the Holiness the Drikung Kagyu built in Cusco, Peru. Of course, they are also in lockdown, and so it's not possible to gather physically at the stupa to do the celebration. But some of the Sangha members are with us this morning to do this practice, partly also to remember this day 4 days ago. This is a project started by His Holiness the Drikung Kagyu, and it's a beautiful stupa. If you have a chance to go to Cusco, on your way to Machu Picchu, you will see the stupa on your right. About, I would say, half an hour after you have left Cusco City, right before you enter this town called Chinchero, it's going to turn up on your right. At least right now, you can still see it actually from the highway, from the road that goes down to this, without your view being blocked. Later, if people start building around there, maybe it's not visible, but now it's visible. You see it on your right, and there is a big, beautiful stupa. So we are also celebrating the 4th year of this stupa, and hoping that soon, whether the locals or other people visiting from other places can go experience the blessings of that stupa. Then, of course, the bigger actually, right now, I am not sure. Veronica, are you there? Maybe. Are you there? Maybe not. Anyway, if you're there, I thought you would some. But anyway, in the bigger reason is Saka Dawa. So Saka Dawa, Saka is short for Vaishaka in Sanskrit. Dawa is the month, Saka Dawa, Vaishaka. So the month of Vaishaka. In the lunar calendar that is used in Southeast Asia, Saka Dawa Vaishaka just ended like yesterday or today. But in the Tibetan calendar, today is the start of the month. So it's called Saka Dawa. Saka Dawa means Vaishaka month. So according to the biography of the Buddha, in this month, many important things happened in the life of the Buddha. In this month, the Buddha was born. In this month, 35 years after he was born, Buddha achieved complete awakening. Siddhartha achieved complete awakening. Then he taught for 45 years or 49 years, according to some accounts. Then at the age of 80 plus, complete and nirvana. So these three important events is said to have happened on this month of Vaishaka. Then some traditions also say that it is also that he was conceived. His descent from Tushita heaven in the form of the white elephant with 6 tusks. And so if indeed he was conceived, according to some of these accounts, also on this month, that means his time in the womb is longer than the usual 9-10 months. But that's what we have in the accounts, you know. Anyway, the main point is that this month is a very special month. Then, of course, if you follow the Tibetan calendar, then it corresponds with this time, as we are starting the first day of Saka Dawa. So it is said that in the Vinaya, several places in the Vinaya, which primarily concerns ethical, moral conduct, and specifically that of monks and nuns. In the Vinaya collection, there are lots of stories because a lot of the rules that Buddha gave is related to things that happen. So lots of stories are told. So there's the Vinaya collection. Then there is the Sutra collection, where Buddha's discourses, more full-length discourses are recorded. And then there is the Abhidharma, where the more philosophical topics are, you can say, extracted from the Sutra and the Vinaya and discussed kind of separately and in depth in the Abhidharma. So it is said in the Vinaya collection, Buddha mentioned here and there that there are, due to special conditions, special interdependence, some powerful events happening during certain times of the year. So in particular, then Buddha's birth, Buddha's awakening, Buddha's passing into complete and final nirvana, that created some kind of special interdependence. So that on the relative realm, if we significance of those events and the significance it has for us, then if we mindful of that and therefore then intensify our practice during those periods, during those times, there is a special interdependence that will cause the effect to multiply millionfold, billionfold. So this month is also called the merit multiplying month. So traditionally, this is also the month that I said, you know, like it is sort of like the Buddhist Lent. So during the Buddhist Lent, just like in the Catholic Lent, lots more increased practice occurs, and then the merit generated. Of course, we always do this for the sake of all beings, for the benefit of all beings. So during this time, it is good if you can, at the very least, commit to observing these 14 days from today until June 5th, and do the Shakyamuni sadhana, or also the puja of Shakyamuni and the 16 arhats. Either one of those, we have shared both of those texts. And then on your own, read, if you can read in English, because it's only translated right now into English, the Lalita Vistara, which is also one of the links. If you register with us, we provided you that link, which is found on 84,000.co. Vistara on your own, if you can. Lalita Vistara, or translated as the play in full, is the Mahayana telling of the story of the Buddha from his descent from Tushita to take birth as his last human birth, all the way to his awakening. So it's filled with many very amazing, profound dharmas, aside from telling his story, which is fascinating, all the intricate details that is provided in the Lalita Vistara. Beyond that, it also has very profound dharma verses. So our program, this Saka Dawa Home Retreat, if you are joining this program, so for 14 days, 14 mornings, mornings in the West, from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. New York time, we will gather on Zoom to do our group practice. Then on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, there has been an ongoing group studying this one set of teachings called the Gongchik. So what will happen on Monday, Wednesday, Friday is we will still start with the Saka Dawa Shakyamuni practice. After the Shakyamuni practice, those who are involved in the Gongchik study, then of course you will, as usual, try to stay and continue with the Gongchik studies on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Those of you who are not part of the Gongchik study, you're welcome to join us, but I will have to say at this point, maybe it can be a little confusing or maybe a little bit hard to follow, but you're welcome to join us. But you're definitely, not obligated to join. Then on the other days, on the other 4 days of the week, after we finish the practice, we will in parts of the Lalita Vistara, the biography of the Buddha, the story of the Buddha, and give some teachings on different parts of the Lalita Vistara. And that will be on Tuesday, Thursday. Basically, I said that it's probably the case that it's not possible for you to attend the group practice from 9 to 11 for all 14 days. You can still be part of this retreat if you make a commitment to then at some point during that day do the Shakyamuni Buddha practice. So this is how we are going to collectively, as a small group, be able to do and observe this Saka Dawa for the first 14 days. If you want to continue on yourself for the rest of the month to the first 14 days. So this is what we're doing. Again, welcome everyone from all different parts, from the Americas, North, Central, South, and also from Southeast Asia. Welcome to all of you to this Saka Dawa Home Retreat program that we are doing. Then, okay, let's see. I think I see Veronica. Are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, Dr. Lee, I can hear you.
I'm going to say a few words so that I can briefly translate into especially. So as I said, today is the first day of Saka Dawa. Saka Dawa being the month where many important things in the life of the Buddha occurred.
Hoy día es el primer día de Saka Dawa. El Saka Dawa es el mes especial donde muchas cosas ocurrieron en la vida de Buda.
So it is said that if we, our Dharma practice can have our inspired and then our sincere practice can depend Saka Dawa for years. It also coincides fourth anniversary of the school, and so fourth anniversary of the stupa in Cusco, which was a project initiated, inspired, and supported by His Holiness the Drikung Kagyu Rinpoche.
Y hoy día también es una gran interdependencia auspiciosa, porque este mes inicia el Saka Dawa, pero también es el mes donde nosotros en Cusco celebramos el cuarto aniversario de la consagración de nuestra estupa, el día que finalizó y empezó la actividad de nuestra estupa. Finalizó la construcción y empezó la actividad de nuestra estupa. Y todo eso gracias al deseo, impulso y trabajo de Su Santidad Drikung Kagyu Jetson. Sorry, Dr. Lee, can you hear me very well? Because I have some problems with my video and some audio.
Your audio is clear.
Yeah, my video is, I don't know what is
Yeah, it's okay, but audio we can hear, so that's good. Thank you.
Thank you.
And so, other than, of course, dedicating merit ultimately for the awakening and the enlightenment and freedom of suffering of all beings everywhere, then particularly we will dedicate today's practice and our home retreat practice to the quelling of this pandemic, relieving suffering of human beings right now. Other animals, other sentient beings are having different experiences right now. And so I think human beings are suffering right now. So we dedicate the merit to the quelling of the disease. But hopefully that when the disease is quelled, human beings can have more awareness and understanding of humans' impact on the other living beings. As we prosper, as we do well, there is a cost that we are putting on other sentient beings. So right now, other sentient beings seems to be doing better. So we pray that that going forward, it can be a more harmonious coexistence rather than one species doing well at the expense of all the other species.
Y entonces también los méritos de de todo este evento, de todas las prácticas, vamos a dedicar no solamente para el despertar, la iluminación y la liberación de todos los seres sintientes, sino también y especialmente para el apaciguamiento de esta pandemia, de esta enfermedad, y que una vez que se haya apaciguado, liberado y que hayamos podido recuperarnos, también nos demos cuenta del impacto que nosotros tenemos sobre otras especies, nosotros los seres humanos, ¿no? Y que para nuestro bienestar, el mérito de todas estas prácticas para el bienestar de nosotros los seres humanos, para el apaciguamiento de la enfermedad, de la pandemia, pero también cuando una vez hayamos pasado todo esto, que nos demos cuenta del impacto que nosotros podemos hacer, porque al momento otras especies están muy bien, parece que ellos están siendo mejor, parece que están bien y que esto tiene que ver, el efecto tiene que ver con nosotros mismos, con los seres humanos. Entonces tenemos que darnos cuenta del efecto que nosotros producimos en otras especies y, y darnos cuenta y actuar de acuerdo a eso, ¿no? Ser conscientes de eso.
Then I have one dedication, which is that then by the merit and power of the practice that we're doing, and may we all have the opportunity to go experience the blessings of the stupa in Cusco.
Y también un especial mérito que podemos tener todos es, a partir de esta práctica, que todos podamos experimentar las bendiciones de la estupa en Cusco.
So now we're going to start with the refuge and generating bodhicitta in stages. So please look at that text.
I translate in Spanish, Dr. Lee, o no?
Yeah, go ahead. Then after that, maybe not necessary.
Entonces ahora vamos a empezar con la aspiración bodhicitta. Bodhicitta aspiration, you say, Dr. Lee, no?
Yes. Yeah. So unfortunately, the text that we have is only in English and Tibetan. So the practice that we'll be doing will be a combination of English and Tibetan. And so there is no Spanish with the main practices that we're doing. But from time to time, here and there, Veronica, I will ask you to translate just a brief idea of what's happening next, what's happening next.
Entonces, desafortunadamente, la práctica que vamos a hacerla está en inglés y se va a alternar con el tibetano, pero de vez en cuando, doctor Lee me va a indicar para que yo pueda traducir al español.
So for the opening prayers, we will do this. First, I will read in English just one time. You can just listen, and then we will chant in Tibetan. All mother sentient beings, limitless as the sky, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and all-knowingness. May they experience happiness and be separated from suffering. I will quickly establish them in the state of the most perfect and precious awakening. Thus, until I achieve awakening, I engage in virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. Until death, I engage in virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. From now until this time tomorrow, I engage in virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. In the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until awakening is reached. By the merit of generosity and other perfections, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all migratory beings. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. This ground sprinkled with scented waters and strewn with flowers, adorned with the supreme mountain, four continents, sun and moon, I hold in mind as a Buddha land and offer it. May all migratory beings experience such a pure land. Dala Dhawa Jebe Dra Nobar Jebe Ge Tarba Dan Tam Je Kembe Bardu Chopra Jeba Tham Jegis Jebe Manangada Senjen Tam Je Dewa Dan Dunga Dan Lu Lana Me Payang Dabar Zobe Janju Rimpa Je Dobra Janala Doma Je Pedra Nobar Je Benke Darba Dan Tam Je Gembe Bardu Jobra Jeba Tam Je Gis Jebe Mananga Dang Nyambe Senjen Tam Je Deva Dan Zen Dung Yao Dan Lu Lan Yanda Barzobe Chanju Rinpoche Dobra Dala Dhawa Jebe Dra Nobar Jebe Ge Darbada Tamje Kembe Bardu Chopra Jeba Tam Jegi Senjen Tam Jede Dan Den Dunga Dan Lana Me Bayanda Brazobe Rinpoche Dobra de Sama Gegi Bardulunga Yisum Gewala Ko Mashi Bardulunga Gewala Ko De Terene Sunde Nimatsan Ta Samgi Bardulunga Yisum Gewala Ko Sangye Chodan Soki Chonam La Dagi Jinsoki Besonange Drola Benjer Sangye Drupra Sangye Chodan Soki Chonam La Chanju Bardu Dani Kyabsuji Dagi Jinsoki Besonange Drola Benjer Sangye Drupra Sangye Chodan Soki Chonam La Chanju Bardu Dani Kapsu Chi Dagi Jinsu Gibe Sonangi Drola Pencher Sanje Drupra Mananga Dam Nyang Senjen Damje Dewada Dewe Gindan Dembar Gyuji Dungal Dan Dungal Gi Gyudan Dewa Gyuji Dungal Mebe Dewa Jawa Gyuji Niding Chada Nidan Jawa Tanyan La Nebra Gyuji Mananga Danyambe Senjen Damje Dewada Dewenginda Gyudang Jawa Gyuji Dungyal Mebe Jawa Gyuji So now please look at the practice called a brief practice of paying homage and making offerings to the 16 arhats. So this the 16 arhats, they are the arhat disciples of the Buddha, of Buddha Shakyamuni, that promise to remain in the world, to protect the Buddha's teachings, to support the Buddha's teachings, and to support those who practice the Buddhist teachings, particularly to protect the purity and the integrity of the monastic community of the Buddha, because those are the main holders of the teachings of the Buddha. And so these 16 arhats, promise before the Buddha passed that they will remain in this world in different forms, of course, and appearing whenever necessary to help beings. So in making offerings to the 16 arhats, we are contributing to the interdependent conditions and causes for the stability of the Buddha Dharma and the longevity of the teachers of the Buddha Dharma. And so this is why this practice of the 16 arhats is important. So I'm going to say briefly a few words now. Veronica, if you can translate this, that would be good. So this 16 arhats practice is said to be a way to contribute to the stability and the longevity of the Buddha's teachings, and as well as the integrity and the purity of those who practice these teachings, and particularly that of the monastic order.
Entonces se dice que esta práctica de los 16 arhats contribuyen a la longevidad y vitalidad de las enseñanzas, así como también a la longevidad y larga vida de todos aquellos quienes practican el Dharma, especialmente a la sangha monástica.
So then here there is a verse in this practice that a line in this practice that specifically it says, grant your blessings so that the life of the teacher may be secure and the teachings may flourish and spread.
Y aquí hay un verso en esta práctica que dice que todas estas enseñanzas sean para que la vida de los maestros sean seguras y para que las enseñanzas puedan florecer.
And so then, of course, here in particular, again, to commemorate the 4th anniversary of the stupa, here particularly when we think of the teachers, we think of the longevity of His Holiness the Drikung Kagyu.
Y hoy que celebramos el 4º aniversario del stupa, por supuesto también pensamos en la longevidad y el florecimiento de la vida de su santidad Drikung Kagyu Chetsan Rinpoche.
Of course, it includes all other teachers, and basically we pray for that.
Y por supuesto incluye también a todos los otros maestros y nosotros vamos a orar por eso.
So this puja involves using the structure of the 7-fold puja.
Esta puja, sorry, Dr. Lee, what is 7-fold?
The sevenfold puja, the sevenfold
Seven
worship.
verses or sevenfold?
Sevenfold, seven part puja, like paying homage, making offerings,
Ya.
those seven.
Ujú. Ya, entonces esta puya, esta práctica también incluye lo que es la estructura de las puyas de las 7 ramas o las 7 partes, ¿no?
So that's the general structure of this particular puja. And this is a text composed by the great Rime Lama called Jamyang Khyentse Wangpo.
Y bueno, así esta puya va a seguir esa estructura de las 7 partes y esta puya es un texto rime elaborado por el gran maestro Jamyang Khyentse Wangpo.
So we will start on page 1. So the refuge we have already done. And then now we are going to start on page 2, visualizing the pure realm. So everybody turn to page 2. So here, Veronica, you can translate this part. So first we bless the environment, bless where we are, and bless
sorry,
the
Dr.
offerings.
I don't have the texting. We didn't receive this text, but I can say what you said.
Yeah.
So you say that this first part includes the.
So hold on a second.